Here's a possible story. The sun had just set over the vast expanse of the Grand Canyon, casting a warm orange glow over the landscape. Jack, a young man from New York, stood at the edge, his eyes fixed on the breathtaking view. He had always dreamed of visiting the American West, and now, finally, he was here. As he gazed out at the canyon, he felt a sense of awe wash over him. The sheer scale of the natural wonder took his breath away. He thought about all the stories he had heard, all the myths and legends that surrounded this place. He felt small and insignificant in the face of such majesty. Suddenly, a voice interrupted his reverie. "Hey, buddy, you okay?" A park ranger stood beside him, eyeing him with concern. Jack nodded, still lost in thought. The ranger smiled and said, "You're not from around here, are you?" Jack chuckled and shook his head. "No, I'm from New York. Just visiting for a few days." The ranger nodded knowingly. "Well, you've certainly picked a great spot to visit. The Grand Canyon's one of the most beautiful places in the country." As they talked, Jack learned that the ranger's name was Alex, and he had been working at the Grand Canyon for over 5 years. Alex shared stories about the park's history, its geology, and the wildlife that inhabited it. Jack listened intently, fascinated by the ranger's knowledge and passion. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Alex invited Jack to join him for a campfire gathering. Jack accepted, and soon found himself sitting among a group of strangers, swapping stories and sharing laughter. It was a magical night, one that Jack would never forget. The next morning, Jack woke up early, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. He decided to take a hike down into the canyon, eager to explore its depths. As he walked, the silence and solitude enveloped him, and he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The hike was challenging, but the scenery was stunning. Jack marveled at the rock formations, the Colorado River snaking its way through the canyon below. He thought about the Native American tribes that had once called this place home, and the early explorers who had discovered it. After several hours of hiking, Jack reached the bottom of the canyon, where he rested and refueled. As he sat there, he realized that this trip had been about more than just seeing a famous landmark. It had been about connecting with nature and with the people he met along the way. As Jack made his way back up the canyon, he felt grateful for the experience. He knew that this was a memory he would carry with him for the rest of his life, a reminder of the beauty and wonder of the American West. The small town of Willow Creek was nestled in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. It was a place where time stood still, where tradition and heritage were woven into the fabric of everyday life. For Emily, a young woman who had grown up in the town, it was a place of comfort and familiarity. As she walked down the main street, Emily felt a sense of nostalgia wash over her. She had spent her childhood exploring the woods, playing in the creek, and attending community events. The town was small, but it was rich in history and culture. Emily's family had lived in Willow Creek for generations. Her ancestors had been farmers, miners, and craftsmen. They had worked hard to build a life in the mountains, and their legacy lived on in the town. Emily felt proud to be a part of that legacy. As she walked, Emily noticed the changes that had taken place in the town. New businesses had opened, and old ones had closed. The town was evolving, but it still retained its charm. She passed by the old diner, where her family had eaten breakfast every Sunday morning. She saw the park where she had played as a child, and the library where she had spent countless hours reading. Emily's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of music. She followed the sound to a small park, where a group of musicians were playing traditional Appalachian music. The music was lively and infectious, and Emily found herself tapping her foot along with the beat. As she listened, Emily felt a sense of connection to her heritage. The music was a part of her history, a part of who she was. She felt proud to be from Willow Creek, proud to be a part of the community. The music stopped, and the musicians began to pack up their instruments. Emily approached them, and they introduced themselves. There was Jake, a fiddler from Kentucky, Rachel, a banjo player from Tennessee, and Mike, a guitarist from North Carolina. They were all traveling musicians, playing traditional music in towns and cities across the country. Emily talked to the musicians, learning about their journey and their music. She shared stories about her own family's history in the mountains and the music that had been a part of their lives. The musicians listened intently, and Emily felt a sense of connection with them. As the day wore on, Emily decided to join the musicians for a walk through the woods. They walked along a trail, the music flowing from their instruments as they walked. The music seemed to match the rhythm of the creek, the rustling of the leaves, and the chirping of the birds. The walk was a magical experience for Emily. She felt like she was a part of the music, a part of the mountains. The music seemed to bring the landscape alive, and Emily felt a deep connection to the land. As the sun began to set, Emily said goodbye to the musicians and returned to her home. She felt grateful for the experience, grateful for the music and the connection it had brought her. She knew that she would always treasure the memory of this day, this moment in time. Over the next few weeks, Emily found herself thinking about the musicians and the music they had played. She began to explore her own musical heritage, learning about the traditional music of the Appalachian Mountains. She started playing the guitar, and soon she was playing traditional tunes with a group of local musicians. The music brought Emily closer to her community, closer to her heritage. She felt a sense of pride and connection to the town, to the mountains, and to the people who had come before her. The music had awakened something deep within her, something that she would carry with her for the rest of her life.